Errol Doebler, man.
All right.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Good to see you, Brett.
I'm really excited for our viewers and to have Errol Doebler here. First-rate guy, transparent, honest, integrity. He coached me on some leadership strategies and it was pretty exciting. So Errol, he's the founder of a leadership training consultation group called Leader 193.
That's right.
Errol Doebler is former Navy SEAL and former FBI special agent.
That is correct.
And comes with some really great strategies. And what I was excited about was speaking with Errol here about how some of the things that Errol does in leadership training and his history with Navy SEAL and FBI, some of the things and strategies he's used that are very methodical, very planned out. They often relate to processes we use in behavior analysis. So
yeah, that was an immediate synergy we had when we were talking about leadership and what you all do here. And you're like, well, we kind of do that. We just call it something else.
Yeah,
that was basically the conversation. It was all very similar.
With the science of behavior analysis and B.F. Skinner's original vision of using positive strategies and relationships as opposed to coercion and force and bullying. What I liked is that some of the strategies that you used were just being very direct, honest. Actually, your story you told me, you expressed your gratitude for the person being there in a very compromising situation in the basement. Tell us about that.
My wife and I were, based on the work that we did together, we ended up in one of the former Soviet republics to a jail that no American had ever been to and that no female had ever been to. And we got access to a terrorist who was put away for life. He was not leaving that dungeon. And you want to talk about a scene straight out of the movies. That place was it. You know, the jails themselves were, I don't know how many levels down. We were escorted by a guy with a burlap mask, like burlap, like it was crazy. You know, as we went through it was a literal dungeon, right? The rock walls and the moisture dripping down off the walls. It was crazy. And then they brought in the guy, and you know, everybody questioned why would we even waste our time talking to him. And my point was, well, because he has the answers. And if the host country is going to let us do it, why wouldn't we just give it a try? We lose nothing. And so knowing that this guy was, me and him couldn't have been more on opposite ends of what we believed, but we were both willing to do the same thing to achieve what we believed, and that was to fight and die. So there was a mutual respect, and I started the interview out with him telling him that I understood all the differences between us.
Yeah, you were just real direct and transparent, like, hey, we're coming from opposite values. We die for different things.
That's right, but
we
we'll
have
both
a mutual
die.
Respect.
And I said, I appreciate you coming out here. And I said, I'm not sure if you came out here just to stick it in my nose, that you have all the things I want to know and you're not going to tell me, but you still came out. And I said, from that, I appreciate it. And I told him what the purpose of my interview was. I said, there are a couple people that I'm interested in that I know you know about, and I want to ask you questions about them. Do you think we can do some work? And he was like, what are your questions, right? And so we had to play a dance, right? We had to do a little dance, so we asked some very benign questions. I didn't want to insult him. When he didn't tell me the truth right out of the gate, and I had my wife behind me, and she'd kind of whisper in my ear like, that's not accurate, I wouldn't hit him with, that's a lie, right? Well, that's not getting me anywhere. I said, well, you want to rethink that one? You know, and I could see, he was like, okay, so you know the answer, and you're not disrespecting me. You're not insulting me. If I needed something, I had to show, in my mind, some level of gratitude for the fact that you're talking to me.
Yeah, kindness and compassion, even with major differences that are life or death, can go a long way.
Because there was an area of agreement, right? We found something that we could talk about.
Yeah, in our field of applied behavior analysis, employee training, it's much better to find ways you can relate to people and pair with them and build a relationship out of kindness, positive reinforcement, and compassion, as opposed to threats, coercion. The B.F. Skinner Institute, which my mentor, Julie Vargas, is a co-founder of, that's one of the biggest things. She wants to get the word out about her father espousing positive strategies instead of some of the myths and misunderstandings of being coercion.
Well, yeah, and when we say coming to it from a place of compassion and understanding, people just mistake that for weakness, and it's not weakness.
Errol would, in behavioral science language, we would call it behavioral momentum. So he would ask them to do a couple things, build some compliance and follow through. They would deliver on something they said they would do. He would kind of vet them out through them complying, and you built what we would call behavioral momentum, and then that kind of led you to each step in the process, right?
And when it all works, it's a trust, right?